Words cannot express the loneliness that we feel.
If we can't believe what you tell us, you're in a world of hurt, all right? A world of hurt.
Just completely blew her face up. Like, jaw was hanging low, or than it's supposed to be. It looked like it dislocated that. Blew like all the cheek and skin off of that. It was just messy.
Shoot people and stuff like that, open up people. He asked if I was about that, if I would do it.
On the evening of February 10th, 2010, a bicyclist, seemingly out for his usual ride through Southside Park in Jacksonville, Florida, stumbled upon the body of a young woman named Makia Coney lying motionless in the woods, her face disfigured by a gunshot wound. Earlier that day, Makia left the University Christian School with 2 classmates, believing their after-school plans included buying cigars, smoking them in the woods, and having fun, not knowing that they had other plans. When police officers arrived at the area the bicyclist had described, they found fresh tire tracks matching those of a truck, along with multiple shoe prints and a half-burnt cigar on the ground. The following day, officers visited the school and retrieved CCTV footage showing one of Makia's classmates leading her off campus. However, later in the footage, both classmates were seen walking down a hallway on campus, laughing and goofing around.
Yeah, I'm back in the truck. If I tell anybody, you gonna shoot me next?
How would I shoot you if I didn't have a gun?
This is 17-year-old Charles Southern, along with 16-year-old Connor Pridgen, the 2 classmates who took police officers through a series of interrogations to uncover the truth about the death of Makia Coney. Judging from subsequent interviews with a number of students, it was evident that the 2 friends must know something, or at least one of them had an idea of what happened. And as a result, Charles Southern was called in for questioning. Whatever happened that day, the detectives needed to know why his truck was at the scene of the crime, but what unfolded next in this never-before-seen footage would turn this mystery into one of the most unsettling cases they had ever seen.
Saw Makia and that you and Connor were in your truck.
I'm a kid.
I said you and Connor.
Oh, yes, sir.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay. Did Makia ever get in the truck with y'all?
No, sir.
You ever go off campus to eat?
Not after school.
During school?
No, sir. We're not allowed.
Well, I was in school too, and I wasn't allowed, but I did it.
Well, no, I never went off campus at all. No.
At all?
Mm.
How about after school?
After school, yeah. I mean, there's a couple times you get Taco Bell or something.
When was the last time you were at Taco Bell?
3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you cut your hair or changed anything about your parents lately?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, did you happen to go to Taco Bell yesterday?
No, sir.
Okay. Did you give Makia a ride anywhere yesterday?
No, sir.
Did she ask for a ride?
No, sir. Like I said, I only seen her that minute after school.
Okay. So she hasn't been in your truck in 3 weeks?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, yesterday, about what time was it that you saw Connor?
While I was in the truck?
No, in the afternoon after school got out. When did you see him?
Probably around 3:30.
Around 3:30?
Yeah.
And where was that at?
In the parking lot.
And was he by himself?
Yes, sir.
Did you see Makia around?
No.
No?
That was after I walked past and said, hey.
That's after you had walked past her and said, hey?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but you didn't see the 2 of them when...
Oh, no, sir.
Okay. So you saw Connor in the parking lot. It was around 3:30?
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then what happened?
He threw his bag. Or no. We went over to J-Ray.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to pick up my bag over there in the weight room. And he had to work out. So I just hung out with him for a little bit. And then got bored, so I left and went to Mr. Threadcraft's. And shortly after, I think he came in.
During the interrogation, Charles tried to explain how he had spent his afternoon after school from the waiting room to a teacher's class, but as the detectives attempted to make sense of what he was saying, they began to notice contingencies in his story.
About a half hour. So that's about 4. Okay, then you said you got to actually Fred Craft's room at 4:30. So from 4 to 4:30, what'd you do?
I was in the weight room.
I'm not trying to trick you. You said you got to the weight room about 3:30, right?
Yeah.
Okay, from 3:30 to 4, You were in the weight room. You said you were there for about a half hour, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. At 4 o'clock, you left the weight room, and you went to thread class, and you got there about 4:30.
Right.
Okay. So from 4 to 4:30, was just traveling from there to there?
Well, I drove around to the softball field, but it didn't take another half hour. So,
That's what I'm just asking you.
yeah, I mean,
So you drove around the softball field. And
yeah, then came back and went
did
to
you see
practice.
anybody you were outside you were hanging out with, talking to?
No, I was watching the girls practice or the girls game.
Did you see Makia at that point?
No, sir.
Did you next see her walking around the school?
This kept the detectives on high alert, as there was no reason for him to lie in the first place. But as the interrogation continued, he soon revealed something none of them expected.
Heard anything about what it may have happened to Makia?
Yes, sir.
What you
She hitched a ride or walked with someone to Taco Bell,
Mm-hmm.
and other than that, nothing. That's the only thing I heard.
Now,
And I heard Connor walked her to Taco Bell.
who did Connor?
Connor, yeah.
Okay, but if he was with you in the weight room,
Right.
how would he be able to do that without you knowing?
I don't know.
Did they say it happened before he saw you at the weight room or after? Or
They didn't say. I mean, that
Did
was
he
just
act
an
normal?
idea. Huh?
did he act nervous about anything, upset?
No.
Was he
Just normal.
normal? No one sweating, excited about anything?
Mm.
Didn't appear nervous to you for some reason?
No, sir.
Now, when you left the school, it was what time, you think?
4:35, 4:40, something like that.
Then you got in your truck and you drove, you said, out University
Mm.
to 95 South.
I went the other way, the other on ramp. So,
Yeah, you're gonna go south toward Mandarin.
yeah.
Mhm. You went down toward 295, you got 295 to Old St. Augustine? Or did you go all the way 95 to Old St. Augustine?
All the way 95.
All the way down?
Mm.
Okay, to the new overpass, the fancy overpass?
Yeah.
Go down by Baptist South? Okay. And went straight home?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You never drove up University at all?
No, sir.
You never drove around by Wilson High School?
Mm.
Okay.
There's a couple times I went to Old Kings Road.
Yesterday? We're just talking about yesterday?
No, I'm just talking.
Okay. So there's no reason, from what we're talking about, no reason anyone would have seen you with Makia or Makia in your truck yesterday?
No.
Okay. And there's no reason anyone would have seen your truck any further west on University Boulevard than the turnoff at 95?
Right.
Okay. Wouldn't have seen you down by Powers Avenue, wouldn't have seen you down by Wilson High School, and would not have seen your truck out in the mud pits yesterday. Okay. And
Despite Charles having a distinctive bright red truck with big tires, he claimed he had been to the area a few times but not the previous day. As the interrogation continued, the officers shifted their focus to Connor, hoping to gather more information about him since the two were often seen together.
look at Connor and his relationship with Makia. How well do you think they knew each other?
Just like any old friends, I guess.
Did she ever buy weed from him that you're aware of?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Does he ever sell it to other kids at school?
And I will answer that for you. Yes, sir.
Okay. And that's what I want to talk about before, just honesty. Now, somebody had told us that she was looking to buy a blunt, which she had bought from him.
I wouldn't know if she did, but that's the person to get it from.
Okay. Did she mention anything to you when she saw you that she had got a blunt or picked up some weed or was looking to get some or was looking for Connor to get some? Okay. And did Connor mention anything to you that he had sold to her when he got in your truck?
No, sir.
Would you tell me the truth if he had?
Yes, sir.
After several evasive responses, the detectives began to suspect that Charles knew more than he was letting on. Lacking hard evidence against him, they attempted to patronize the 17-year-old to get him to tell the truth, but Charles stood his ground.
To you about was, if she had been in your truck, of course, we will find that out. And if something happened, if there was an accident, people, a lot of times, shit goes bad quick, and things happen that we didn't intend to happen, and then we panic and we lock up. What do I say? What do I do? Because I don't want to get in trouble. Believe it or not, the truth always is the best route, one way or the other. And that's why we always bring people in here. You came into the equation today because of the fact you had a relationship with her, because you have a truck. You've been back there in that area before, so you know the area. She's obviously been in your truck before.
Yeah.
And it's important that we talk to you from the start,
I understand.
so we can try to clarify some of these things. Okay? Is there anything that you need to tell me?
That's it.
Throughout the questioning, Charles remained unexpectedly calm, insisting that he knew nothing about Makia's death, a level of composure that seemed unbelievable given that he had no real relationship with her. However, one thing was certain. The tire tracks they found were from Charles's truck, but why he denied it remained a puzzle to the detectives. Realizing they wouldn't get any more from Charles, the detectives turned their attention to Connor, who had been captured on the school surveillance video with Makia just hours before her death. However, when Connor was brought in for questioning, the detectives had no idea of the kind of person they were about to encounter.
The two, it was first period, and I think Spanish 2, which is 5th period.
Okay. Did y'all sit close to each other?
No, opposite sides of the room.
Okay. Do y'all ever talk to each other?
Not during class or out of school.
Outside of class?
No.
No.
The only time I've talked to her was like passing in the hallway or something like that, but we're not really close. We don't talk much.
Okay. On the day that this happened, Wednesday,
Yes, sir.
the 10th, that afternoon, after class got out, what time do you finish your last class?
3:10.
At 3:10? All right, at 3:10, when was the next time that you actually saw Makia?
I thought it was 3:45, but somebody else told me that it was like 3:17 was the last time.
Okay. Does that sound right?
It's anywhere from then until 4 o'clock when I got into the weight room.
Okay. Your bags and stuff?
Packing up my gym bag.
Okay. So when you came out, she's in the classroom where?
She's in third craft room.
And where?
Third craft, the guy I went to right
She was
after
right
I
next
got out of
door?
class, yeah.
Okay. Did you walk over and talk to her before this point?
No. The only time I talked to her is when she says something first.
Okay. You know her sister, BB?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, BB told us that you stepped next door and spoke to her, and then she came out.
No. The only time I ever go in that classroom is to hang out with Justin Bell.
Okay. But you're absolutely positive that you did not stick your head in and
No.
say anything to her?
I don't talk to her unless she talks to me. We're not close at all.
Okay. I've heard you say that before. That you're not close to her at all?
Mm-hmm.
All right. But I'm trying to understand why her sister absolutely said that you stuck your head in the door and spoke to her, and then she came out and followed you out the door. Were y'all talking about anything?
No.
For some reason, Connor claimed that his connection with Makia did not go beyond simple greetings and was not as close as the detectives had been led to believe. Despite several students saying otherwise, including Makia's sister, Beatrice, Connor remained adamant.
I can't understand why people would say that you're actually friends, and I've got you on film walking around. I've got her sister, who, as you might imagine, is
Beside herself?
yes, she's completely tore up, and she blames herself for her sister's death.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot to carry for a kid that young. And she's told me, and I have no reason to go back and insinuate that she's wrong or that she's lying to me, is that she's told me that you stuck your head in the door, said something to Makia, Makia went out the door.
No,
I need to understand why that question mark is there.
I don't have a clue.
Let me just tell you what one kid said, okay?
Alright.
It says Connor Makia jokes around class all the time, talks all the time in class, jokes around. I mean, I had more than one kid. That's just one I just pulled up right quick.
Oh, yeah.
I had many kids come in and tell us that Connor and Makia are better friends. And I had one kid that said that they could not believe how you are denying that you were friends with her, because it's just crazy. Because they say you and her joke around in class all the time, and you talk to her, but you're making it sound like you never talk to her,
And you don't know her.
that you only time that you say something to her is if she speaks to you, and then these kids are saying that's crazy.
And Connor,
they're in your
that's
class.
what doesn't make sense.
I
We've been in this
understand
game for a long time. I'm not 20 years old. I've been around for a while. My partner's been around for a while, and people get nervous because of what we do.
I understand that, but
we don't bring
the
anybody in here
teachers
trying to
can
say.
actually say, because I sit on the opposite side of the room and have no opportunity to even whisper or talk to
All right. I was in school. I've got friends in school that I joke and kid around with. I don't necessarily have to do it in class. But there's time in between classes, in the halls and the breaks, on lunch and stuff. She stays after school every day, so you stay after school every day. You're going to have interaction with people.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a big school. It's a small number of students. And for everyone to come at us and say that he's better, we don't understand why he's saying that, because he's friends with her. And we don't understand that.
I'm not like push off towards her, but I'm not like, I don't know where she lives, don't know anything about her. I know her name's
ask you about
Makia, and like that's about it.
The detective suspected that Connor knew more than he was letting on, and the only way to get it out of him was to steer the conversation in a different direction. And so, they carefully began to probe into other topics, hinting at the kind of interactions he might have had with Makia, waiting to see if he would slip up or reveal something unexpected.
A lot of people in this school that we've talked to said, if you want weed, see Connor.
That's because of my reputation last year.
Well, how did you get the reputation last year?
Just doing stupid stuff, going to parties or lots of drugs.
Remember what I
and
said?
alcohol.
I'm not about dope, I'm about honesty.
I know.
Okay. Last year, were you selling?
I wasn't selling on campus at all.
I'm not. I don't work for the school.
I understand.
Did Makia ever come to you in the past or recently saying that she wanted to buy some?
No, but nobody comes to me anymore about it. Like the last person that ever did was last year, and that was right before I got kicked out. It turned out to be set up type thing.
Oh, you got set up?
Well, sort of, but not really.
All right. Now, we've had people tell us that Makia had money that day and she wanted to buy a blunt. And that's why everyone says, well, if you want to buy a blunt, talk to Connor. If he doesn't have, or if he doesn't sell, he can tell you where you can get it. And Connor, if you do, that might help us. If you know anyone
I know
someone could turn to over there.
I know some people that sell, but none of them I would hand out numbers to, because I don't really.
Did she come to you and ask you?
No.
There's more than one person she talked to that day about it.
She didn't talk to me about it.
Since Connor still claimed to be innocent, the detective needed to find out if he had introduced Makia to someone else, perhaps another drug dealer who might have been responsible for her death.
Did you see her again?
No. The last time I saw her was right when we walked out of there, and I broke left to go to the flagpole.
Okay, and then what happened after you went outside?
I went to the flagpole, grabbed my bag, walked to the gym, got changed into my gym clothes. Not to the gym, the weightlifting room.
You walked to the weightlifting room?
Yeah.
I thought you rode there.
I rode from the there to J-Ray. From the flagpole to J-Ray. Like from right here.
So you, now just now you said you walked to where?
To the.
You got your book bag then, and what'd you do?
Walked over to the parking lot. It's like right around the flagpole. From like my books are like right on the corner of the principal's office.
Mm-hmm.
And I got the books, walked over here, hopped in Charles' truck,
This is Charles Southern.
Yeah.
And it's that red truck?
Yeah, red Dodge.
Okay.
Pulled out, went in here, got dropped off right at the Athletic D building. Went in there, I was with Coach Cox, just messing around and lifting weights.
Okay.
Just as expected, it didn't take long before the detectives picked up the inconsistencies in his story, but what they didn't realize was how deeply twisted things were about to get.
This is gym clothes, a big old thing of protein powder. iPods, stuff like that.
You see a gun in there?
No,
You ever seen a gun in his truck?
not in his truck.
Where have you seen a gun?
There's a coach, there used to be a coach there, Beatrice, right before he went hunting on Saturday when we were up there. He owns a ranch and the school takes football trips out there.
Mm-hmm. I'm talking about Charles.
I've never seen a gun in Charles' truck.
You've never seen him with a gun?
No.
Ever?
I don't know him to own a gun or his family to own a gun.
Really?
I've never met his family, but
And you've never known him to have a gun in his vehicle?
no. He's not 21, he can't legally own
No,
a
I'm
gun.
not. No. Connor. I wasn't born yesterday, and neither was Detective Nixon.
I know, but
Anybody can get their hands on a gun
Yeah,
today.
but he's not the type of kid that would know where to get it, nor anything like that.
Really?
Mm.
Would it shock you if we told you that other kids had seen him with a gun?
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And these are some of the same kids that, of course, came and told us that you were in the truck with him that day.
When they saw the gun in there when I was in the car,
I'd say that. I say that you had been in with it.
I know, I was asking
in the
you that.
vehicle with you, and with him. And you say you've never seen a gun in there?
not anywhere in his truck.
During the investigation, the detectives learned from other students that Charles had been seen holding a revolver the day before the shooting. However, Connor confidently denies these allegations, but with all eyes now on him, the detectives began to close in, sensing he wasn't being completely honest.
The last 48 hours? We're a little bit tired because we've been going at this for 48 hours. We have a lot of detectives that work here, and a lot of detectives and police officers and citizens and civilians have been on the phone constantly. Now, outside this school, this busy road, University Boulevard, how many of those businesses do you think have video systems?
I don't have a clue. Probably most of them.
Yeah. And because of cameras today, this is a highly technological world. People have cameras because, one, to ward off thieves,
Mm-hmm.
or to help the police, that are solving crimes. Now, you've watched the news, and you know that all these police officers and detectives have been canvassing and surrounding this area. A lot of film has come in. This is just a little thing from the school.
Yeah.
It's being analyzed even as we speak. They're looking at films right now. Now, the truck that you climbed into is very distinctive.
Yeah,
And
it's a big truck.
very easy to see on film.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now, I told you that most of the questions we're going to ask you, we already have the answers to. We're just seeing if you're going to be honest. Because when it comes down to it, Connor, if we can't believe what you tell us, you're in a world of hurt. All right? A world of hurt. I'm not looking to hurt you. You haven't done anything to me. You may have been in a bad position, and somebody did something in front of you that you saw, and the only thing you can think of is now is just deny it. Oh, for God's sakes, just deny it. Hopefully he'll believe me. Okay? All those people and all those businesses have a timestamp on cameras on that
Mhm.
road. And you know how easy it is, once you put it all together, to watch a big red truck come out that parking lot and go down that street.
Pretty easy, I guess.
Yeah.
After stating the facts to him, it slowly dawned on Connor how deep the consequences would be for him if he continued withholding information from them. However, it wasn't long before Connor soon revealed something chilling.
I witnessed something.
What did you witness?
Charles accidentally, I thought it was, he said it was accidentally shoot Makia.
And it's been eating at you, hasn't it? Well, it has. I know it has. I know it has. Do you think it was an accident?
I think it was an accident because he's never handled a gun before that I know of, but I mean, it's easy to say that it was an accident and it couldn't.
Connor, are you sure that it was Charles that did it, not you?
I'm positive.
If it was an accident and you were holding that gun, you've got to tell me, Charles.
I understand that, but I wasn't holding the gun.
Tell me what happened.
We got in the truck, all three of us. He was already in the truck, waiting in that parking lot. I got in there. We were originally going to Old King's Food Mart, like Old King's Quick Mart, I think it's called.
For what?
I was gonna go pick up a can of dip, and her and Charles wanted a Black and Mild.
Okay, for what reason?
They just smoked Black and Mild.
Okay, all right.
And we're just chilling. He said he was gonna go drive around. We ended up at Baker Skinner Park, which is where like a baseball field is. I'd never been there before, but the baseball field's there. And then like he went down this dirt road and like took a left, and it went like almost in a ravine area, like a ditch.
Have you ever been back there?
No, not in my life.
Okay.
That was the only time I'd ever been back there. Was when he
Okay.
drove us back there.
Okay. What do you think y'all were going to do back there?
I thought he was and her were gonna smoke that Black and Milds that they got. They got out of the truck, outside of the truck.
Mm-hmm.
They're smoking that.
Were you driving?
No, I don't drive. I don't have a license.
I'm not the licensed police, all right?
I got it, but I wasn't. I never, other than the like.
Now, where were you sitting in the truck?
The right passenger seat.
And where's Makia?
In the middle.
Okay. Now, which side did she get out on?
Probably on Charles' side, but.
Do you remember?
No, not really.
Okay. Did you know what was going to happen?
What?
Did you know what was going to happen?
I thought they were just gonna smoke the blacks. I didn't know
Okay.
that something that bad was gonna
All right.
happen.
Finally, Connor had started to talk, but something felt off. If Makia's death was truly an accident, it's hard to fathom why Connor didn't call the police to report the incident. Connor had yet again lied to the police, or at the very least, he was leaving something important out. And as the detectives would soon discover, his story took a dark and unexpected turn.
Have you seen it before?
I'd seen it in the truck the day before.
Mm-hmm. What kind of gun was it?
It's like a 6-shot revolver. I don't really know the model or anything.
Did he ever tell you what kind of Magnum it was? If it was a 38, a 357, a 44, a 45?
I think it was a 44 Magnum.
A 44 Magnum?
Mhm.
Did he say where he got it?
No,
Was it his uncle's?
not that I know of. His uncle wouldn't let him leave with a gun.
Okay. How many times had you seen him with a gun before that?
Just that one time the day before.
The
And I
day
saw
before?
him, I saw it when he was talking to Caleb Hill and showed Caleb Hill that gun.
Okay.
So,
So you knew that Caleb had seen it too?
yeah, I saw it the same time I walked up when Caleb was
Caleb
looking
had
at it.
it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Caleb never touched it, but
Did you ever touch it?
I don't think so.
All
Not
right.
unless it was like when he was showing it to me Tuesday.
Okay. Did you see her get shot?
Yeah, I saw it. It was right in front of me.
Okay. Those clothes, did they get blood on them?
I would guess so. She was shot. It looked like, well,
How
like,
close? All right.
I'm like 7 feet away, not far at all. My ear was ringing. I looked over there, and she's got blood pouring out of her head. And he
Okay.
said the gun went off.
She got blood pouring out of her head?
Yeah, it was like shot like right here in the temple, I think.
Uh-huh. And he shot one time?
It sounded like twice, but it could have been once. I don't know.
Did you look at her after it happened?
Yeah, it was all messed up.
What was messed up?
Like her face, she had a bullet hole here, and like it just looked like it completely knocked her jaw loose.
Really?
hmm
Was she breathing at that time, or could you tell?
No, there's no way.
For someone who claimed to be close friends with Charles, it was hard to believe the shocking event had happened suddenly without Connor having any knowledge of it. But even though he had started to tell what seemed to be the truth, his story constantly began to change.
You can't do this half-cocked. Do you understand that? I mean, you got to do this 100%, and you got to tell the truth about everything, okay? No matter what happened. I mean,
The good, the bad, the ugly.
You've already said two rounds. Okay?
It sounded like 2 rounds, but I didn't
one
see
round.
him.
Listen to me. 1 round don't sound like 2. Okay.
It was loud and
The
my
first
ears
time,
rang.
if it's an accident, 1 round is not 2. Okay. He's not gonna fire off 2 rounds from a revolver. Okay. It's not a semi-automatic. He fired 1 round, and you saw her go down. Okay, right?
Mhm.
Did he shoot her again while you was watching? And tell the truth.
I think he shot her.
No, don't listen to me.
Don't think. You
We
were
don't.
there.
We don't think. We don't think. Okay?
He shot her the second time.
Why did he shoot her the second time?
I think that, like, so she couldn't,
Tell on him. Was she still alive when she went down?
I don't know. I didn't check vitals,
I didn't-
but
I'm not-
it
listen to
looked
me.
like she was dead on the first shot, like, 'cause she went to the ground,
Where was he standing over her when he shot the second time?
like 2 or 3 feet away.
Okay.
And he
It
shot
was
her.
almost
Where did he
so-
shoot her at?
The first time I think was.
I'm not asking the first time. I'm asking. You didn't see the first time. You said your back was
No,
turned.
but I saw the blood pouring
Okay.
out
Well, listen to me. When you saw the second shot, where did he shoot her?
right around like cheek, jaw area, which is why I saw the jaw like get knocked off.
So how long has she been on the ground before he fired that second shot?
Almost immediately.
He just walked over and just shot her again.
Yeah, the only reason I could think of, and he said it was an accident on the
That-
first shot,
No, we're not talking about the first shot.
I know, I'm talking about the second one.
Did you
That's-
ask him why he fired the second shot?
and it was the only reason I could guess that was. I didn't ask him if he why
Okay,
he
that's what
fired
I'm
the
asking.
second shot.
Did you ask him why he fired the second
No,
shot?
but the only reason I could think of was to like if she was alive and like she did get to the paramedics, she was fine.
Did she tell on him?
Yeah, something like that, where he wanted to cover his trail or whatever.
You know what he did with the gun?
Throughout this time, Connor maintained that he had nothing to do with what happened to Makia, but the detectives still couldn't understand why Connor was present at the scene, unless he had a part to play.
I understand that.
Nobody is a better witness to what happened that day than you. Are you sure you didn't pull the trigger?
I'm positive I didn't pull the trigger. I have no gun. He's not going to shoot her in the head and then hand me a gun to shoot her in the head.
Well, if he wants you to be a part of it, so
Wow.
she won't tell.
Why would I step
Well,
in
we're
that
trying to understand why he
situation?
shot her. Why did he kill her?
Yes, I don't really know, and I can't honestly.
Did you ask him why?
No, I never asked him anything. He said it was an accident, and I was like, whatever, just get back to the school as quick as you can. He said, all right, just don't say anything about it. Nothing's ever going to come of it. Nothing's ever going to get brought up.
Did you think it was going to go away?
I wanted to get away from him. He drove off after I got
Did
out.
you think this was going to go away?
I knew it was probably going to surface eventually, but not like that.
Has it bothered you?
Yeah, it's bothering me daily. I've got 4 hours of sleep since it happened.
Did you tell your mom?
No,
She doesn't know that.
She doesn't know anything. How about your dad?
no, nobody.
Have you talked to anybody? When's the last time you talked to him?
Charles, I seen him today at school, and that
Did you talk to him?
just like waved passing.
No. Did you talk to him about what happened?
No, nothing about what happened. I haven't talked to him since.
Did he talk to you about what to say to us
No.
since it happened?
This time, Connor tries to explain how Makia was undoubtedly executed, insisting that only Charles had pulled the trigger, but somehow throughout his account, he remained cold and monotone, acting indifferent and unresponsive. The detectives noticed this and soon returned with a dummy gun, determined to force Connor to reveal the details he seemed to be trying so hard to hide.
When the first shot goes off, is he beside her or in front of her?
He's like directly beside her.
Directly beside her. Okay.
He was like standing, like
If I'm Makia and I'm standing here,
he was like not like this far away. He wasn't far at all.
and did you see the gun? Was it still raised when you looked back and he had shot?
No, it was dropped down by his side.
Was he right or left-handed?
I think he's right-handed.
So the gun was down that side? All right. And she falls.
She was like immediately falls. It wasn't like a slow-mo. It was like,
She's boom down. Okay. Did she land on her back or her side?
I want to say her side, but
Toward him or away from him?
towards him, I think.
Towards you or towards him?
Towards him.
Okay. And then what did he do?
And he pulled the gun up like that and shot her again.
All right. Did he shoot her from? Now she's on the ground.
And he shot her from like almost the same spot as he was when he shot her.
Or did he reach down and he put it in her mouth?
No, he didn't put it in her mouth. He shot her from away.
You're sure? You're absolutely positive.
I'm positive. He was like 3 to 4 feet away from her when he shot her, but he was standing straight up, 2 hands, shot her like that.
Mhm.
It wasn't put in her mouth and then shot her.
Okay. You're absolutely positive he was about 3 feet away from her.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, when did you see? And you saw that shot go
I
off.
saw the second shot.
Okay. What was the impact to her?
And like hit her right here, and it looked like it just completely blew her face up. Like jaw was hanging low, or than it's supposed to be. It looked like it dislocated that. Blew like all the cheek and skin off of that. It was just messy.
Despite several attempts to get Connor to confess, the 16-year-old stood his ground that he was nothing more than a victim, hoping to ease the detectives' suspicions. But what he didn't know was that the detectives would soon receive a call that would eventually turn this case around.
Hello?
Hi, Miss Southern?
Yes, sir.
It's Detective Bowers.
Hi, I'm glad you called back.
I've just been busy. I'm sorry it took so long.
Charles knows more than he told you yesterday.
What's going on?
He says he knows the kid that did it and that he was there when it happened.
He said he was there when it happened?
Yes, sir.
Who did he say did?
He's right here. Would you like to talk with him?
Sure.
What do you think he's going to say?
Probably my man. I was the only person there with him.
Yes, sir. Charles? Yes, sir. What's going on? Charles? Sir.
Called back.
I've just been busy. I'm sorry it took so long.
Charles knows more than he told you yesterday.
What's going on?
He says he knows the kid that did it and that he was there when it happened.
He said he was there when it happened?
Yes, sir.
Who did he say did it?
He's right here. Would you like to talk with him?
Sure. Yes, sir. Charles? Yes, sir. What's going on? Charles? Sir. What happened? A friend that was with me, Connor Pridgen. Uh-huh. He shot Makia. He shot Makia? Connor did? Charles? Yes, sir. And you were there? Yes, sir.
And when Connor was confronted with this, things started to get a little more interesting.
Start. These things just only get deeper.
Yeah. Is there a way we can do a polygraph test or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm willing to do that, because this is bullshit. I've witnessed him shoot her. I'm done with this shit. It's been too emotional for me. I haven't had any sleep, no food all day. I'm not dicking with this anymore.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. This is bullshit. And he's supposed to be a good friend of mine, and then he's gonna say and put it all on me, like I did it. I shot her.
But
I
you know,
didn't
he's
have
gonna
a...
At this point, it was evident that Connor would do just about anything to avoid getting in trouble. Unfortunately for him, there was nothing he could do now, as the detectives were getting closer to uncovering what really happened that day. When the police brought Charles in for questioning, they wasted no time confronting him about what he had said on the phone.
Just start from the time you got out of school yesterday and kind of walk me through what happened.
When we got out of school, Connor said Makia wanted to come with us to go smoke.
Okay, what time was that?
Just right after, during 6th period he told me.
Mm-hmm.
And then we left around like 3:30 to go over to the gym, because I need to go pick my book bag up. And we drove around. I let him out on the other side of the gym so he can go get her.
Mm-hmm.
I went over to the softball field just to see what's going on over there. Softball practice. Got a couple friends over there.
Mm-hmm.
And Connor walked out with her, and they got in. And we went to Old Kings. There's a store over there.
Mm-hmm.
And
Is it on Old Kings?
yeah, it's on Old Kings. As soon as you turn,
Is it a convenience store or a grocery store or what?
it's kind of like a grocery store
Okay.
or like a convenience store.
All right.
And
So what happened when you got there?
I dropped him off, and he bought the cigars. And me and Makia went around the corner. She gave me oral. And then we came back, picked him up, and then our normal spot to smoke, they opened up like a little business spot
Mm-hmm.
because there was an empty building, but we didn't want nobody to see us there. because we were in UC uniform, or he was, and he offered to go to the mud pit down there in Powers. So alright, that's cool. So we went down there by the softball field, or baseball field, and there's a little back road. We took that all the way down, and we stopped by a little power plant or whatever, and we got out, started smoking, carrying on the conversation, and she turned around and looked at the trains, and Connor was right next to me, and he pulled out a gun, and I reached for it, and he shot it.
Not only did Charles explain how Connor had been responsible for Makia's death, but he also claimed that Connor had threatened to kill him if anyone ever found out. But, just like Connor, he somehow absolves himself of any involvement.
The 44 Magnum, yeah, it's black, has a brown handle, I think it is.
Okay. You know what kind it is?
No, sir. It's a revolver.
Okay.
Brown with what kind of handle?
I think a brown, or no, the
gun
gun itself was black,
The gun is black
and
with a
the
brown
grip,
handle.
yes, sir.
The wood.
Yes, sir.
The gun before?
Yes, sir. A couple days ago, he showed it to me
Where?
in my truck. He had it in his backpack.
What, school?
Yes, sir.
Really?
Yeah.
They don't check your backpacks or anything at school?
No, sir.
No? And you said on the phone that you said you knew where you got it from?
Yes, sir.
Where?
Daniel Cumby, that's one of my friends. His dad has a gun like that. And he said, Connor said he took it from Daniel.
You say when he took it?
It was during like a ski trip. Daniel and his girlfriend or whatever, family, went on a ski trip, and he went in and got it.
No matter how long ago that was?
Well, I don't know.
What do you think he's going to tell me?
He didn't shoot her. That story I tried to tell you yesterday was true.
What was that?
Hanging around the weight room. Went over to the weight room 3 o'clock. Went over to thread crash for 4 till 4. And I went home at 4:30.
Did y'all rehearse that story? Did y'all rehearse that story?
Yes, sir. He told me that I dropped him off at the weight room at 4. And then headed from thread crash.
Note that there's no real emotion in Charles's voice, as he describes the murder of someone who was supposedly his close friend. And during the police's earlier investigations, they had visited Charles in his home and found bloodstains on his shoe, but he remained disturbingly indifferent. Now more than ever, the detectives didn't believe him, but they left the matter for the time being and switched to a different topic. Once again, though, the conversation didn't go as they were likely expecting.
You need to stand
Just
up,
tell
but
us
don't
the
go
truth of what
outside.
happened. You know, if you was outside and you were playing with a 44 Magnum and you had it cocked and it went off and you shot her by accident, well then just tell us.
But don't,
You know,
put it
but
on
don't
somebody.
try
do
to
that.
pin it on somebody that had nothing to do with it.
Now you're only making a bad situation worse.
Yeah, because we've got people that's already said you bragged about having a 44. You showed it to people that you had it in your truck. Connor wasn't around. I mean, come on, dude. Everything points at you. Everything points at you. Nothing points at Connor, but you. You're pointing at him because you don't want to take the blame for something you did.
And if it
I
was
didn't do it. Did you go over to his house and look?
Charles, are you listening to what we're telling you? If something
Yeah, I know,
happened,
it
if
don't
something
sound
happened by
right, but-
it don't sound right, and if something happened by accident, and it wasn't intentional, we told you this before. You know, this stuff needs to come out. You know, we can't spoon feed it to you. But this would be a very hard sell for anybody, because his mama is all over him because she doesn't want him falling back into the problems he had last year. Mama's gonna know if he's got something like that because Mama's on top of him and she hauls him back and forth to school. You can't hide a 44 Magnum in a backpack.
Well, he did. That blue backpack. You tell me that backpack's not big enough
And
to hold
then
that in?
someone who he has no affair with, no relationship whatsoever, that he knows her in school, is gonna suddenly just brutally kill her. And it's not even an accident. He murdered her, and that's what you're telling us.
Yes, sir.
So can you explain why
you bragged about having a 44 Magnum and people saw
You
the
in
gun
possession
in
with
your
it.
truck
And you
that
showed
you
it to
pulled it
people.
out and showed it?
I did not. I don't know.
So all these
those
people
people
are
lied
lying.
too. Those
Yes,
people
sir.
lied.
These people are lying against you. Nobody says Connor has anything. Connor don't have a gun. Nobody sees Connor with a gun. Nobody has Connor bragging about a gun. But they come in and say, Charles is bragging about having a 44 Magnum. Charles showed the 44 Magnum in his truck on J-Ray to me. I saw it Tuesday before Makia got killed.
And you know that we've talked to Connor.
Despite being told that his story was nonsense and that blaming Connor wouldn't work, Charles remained adamant, insisting he was the innocent one.
I'm 54 years old. Think about how many years just to me get my age and you're still there. Life is not 25 years and then you get parole. Not on a murder. Life is life. That's your life. Now, you want to take that risk on this concocted story.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Don't feel bad down the road.
Seeing that he was determined to stick to his lies, the detectives took a bold step and put the two suspects face to face in the interrogation room, hoping that the tension and conflicting stories would force one of them to crack.
I want you to tell him what you're telling us.
You shot her, and I went for the gun. That's it. And you told me when we got back in the truck, if I tell anybody, you gonna shoot me next.
How would I shoot you if I didn't have a gun?
You do.
I've got the gun that is at my house, and I already turned that into the officers. It's not, we gotta match anything that was shot with her. You had the gun, you shot her first, point blank range to the temple.
Soon after, Charles and Connor were questioned at the same time, and that's when the chilling truth of what had happened slowly began to unfold.
About it. And all we wanted to do was sort out, because we knew both of you were involved. We just had to figure out who was going to carry the murder. Because we knew the first shot didn't do her. She could have survived it. Could have survived it. It was the second shot. She never stood a prayer. And it was the second shot that did so much damage to her, her family can never look at her. All those detectives beating those bushes and talking to those businesses and getting all that film footage and talking to all those kids at that school wasn't for naught. We knew what we had. And you're right, he shot her first. What I want to know, was your shot an accident? Look at me.
Because I already thought she was dead when he shot her. He didn't shoot her on accident. He had the gun pointed straight at her head.
Well, why'd you shoot her?
What?
Why did you shoot her?
Because I just wanted to get out of there. I had the...
Why couldn't you just tell us that?
Huh?
Why couldn't you just tell us that?
Because it was obviously going to look bad on me, and I had no intention on killing her.
Did you intend to kill her?
No, sir.
Was it an accident?
Yes, sir. I had the hammer pulled back just to try to scare her, and slit.
Was this
I
whole
didn't
thing an
know.
accident? Did you mean to kill her?
No, sir. I did
Nobody
not
meant
mean
to kill her.
Were you scared she was going to say something?
I didn't know that she was alive anyway.
You just wanted to see what it looked like if you shot her?
No, I didn't I was just fucking around with it, and I knew that she got hit, and I didn't know whether she was alive or dead, but I figured she was probably dead, so I just popped the second round,
Mm-hmm.
not even thinking about it.
Okay.
But
Okay.
there was never any intention to kill anybody.
Okay. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
Can you show me where the gun's at?
Yes, sir.
Is it in a place anybody could find it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that's what I'm concerned about, is it falling in the wrong hands?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Although the detectives now have what seemed to be a confession, they needed to be sure that what they were saying was true. After explaining how they had bumped into Makia and persuaded her to join them for a smoke session in the woods near their school, Charles was asked to describe what happened after they arrived.
All right, just for clarification so you can get it on your notes. Where were you standing? Say I'm her. Okay, where were you standing when you had the gun?
Right here.
All right, you were standing that close or closer?
No, it was about right here.
He's
Okay.
about 6-7 feet away from her.
That far away? Okay, and did she
was
turn her head this way? Or did she turn her whole body?
At first, she turned her back. That's when I was messing with it.
Okay.
She turned her back, and then I said, "Hey, Makia." I was pointing. She didn't think much of it, and she looked that way, and I didn't catch the hammer or anything or something, and I pulled the trigger and shot her in the
Now
cheek.
you scared her, right?
Yeah.
When she looked back and saw the gun?
Mhm.
And
But she thought I was messing around,
okay.
which I was. So
Okay, how much time do you think? From the time that she turns back, and show me the gun, where was that?
right,
All right, so she turns back and sees the gun,
yeah,
and then she jumped back?
a little bit. I mean, she didn't.
Okay, and then she's looking at it?
Yeah.
How
She
long do
looked
you
at
think
it.
before the gun went off?
About 2 seconds, maybe.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay, and it was this distance?
yeah, pretty much.
It wasn't any closer?
No.
I mean, it's not really germane, I'm just trying to get an idea.
Yeah, it wasn't. Any
Okay, and then
closer.
she went, what, she fell?
Yeah, she fell back down that way.
Okay. So when she
Yeah.
fell down, and then you went to the front of the truck?
Yes, sir. I went around the front.
Okay, I just need to clarify that.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, man, hang tight.
Throughout the investigation, they both stuck to their story, insisting that what happened to Makia was just a terrible mistake. Further investigations revealed that Connor's gun, which he claimed his mother had given him, was stained with blood, and fragments found in Makia's wounds matched those fired from that very revolver. With the mounting evidence against them, both boys were taken into custody and would face serious charges. However, later that year in October, Connor, through his attorney, was offered a deal to share what he knew with the authorities in an attempt to seek a more lenient sentence for his crimes. They hoped he would finally come to his senses and reveal the shocking truth behind their evil act. But they had no idea how far he was willing to go to hide how twisted he really was.
First of all, take me back to the guns.
The guns.
Yeah.
We were
When did you first become aware of them?
months beforehand when Daniel Cumby was showing them to me and Cody Green, I believe, were in the room. He brought us upstairs. It was in his parents' bedroom closet and showed it to me. It was obviously the 44 Magnums, both the Smith and the Ruger Red Hawk and Astra something.
You're pretty good with guns. You got a fascination with guns. You like to shoot and stuff.
I wouldn't say a fascination with guns, but I know about them.
Okay. So you go out with your family and you go out shooting and stuff on the weekends?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, did you ever discuss with Daniel taking the guns?
No, we never told him anything about taking the guns.
Okay. Now, where were they kept? In the closet up in the bathroom upstairs?
Yes, sir.
In the parents' bedroom?
It's like a bathroom closet and a toolbox.
Okay. Was the toolbox locked or unlocked?
It was unlocked.
It was unlocked?
It was like a latch. Like, you know how most old toolboxes have a latch?
Mm-hmm.
It had no lock on it, but it was...
Just a latch?
Yeah. I
So it
just
was-
flipped the latch open like he showed it to
It
me.
was open and available?
With boxes of ammo.
Were the boxes of ammo in the same box with the gun
No,
or in a separate box?
they're in a separate box.
He starts by detailing how he had stolen the 2 revolvers from their friend's bathroom when no one was around, with Charles acting as the lookout. They then took the guns to their houses until they would use them on Makia the following week. Next, he was asked how and why Makia became involved in the first place, but the story he told was totally unbelievable.
Kia.
Why Makia?
Mm-hmm.
He had gotten in a fight with her at school. It wasn't a physical fight, but it was more of like an argument in which he had said that she was messing around with another different kid by the name of Brad Graham or Brad Sutton, one of the two, who's also in our grade, in 10th grade, and they he was already messing around with other girls, but he got mad when she started messing around with other guys. And that's when he brought it up after he and her got into an argument in third classroom.
And when did that take place?
That had to have been probably the Tuesday or Monday before.
All right, you say by an argument. Did the other people hear it?
They had to have heard it. Charles told me about it, and third class said that they had gotten into it in the middle of the classroom. Like it was on a break or something. We always eat lunch in third classroom every day. There's always a group of us who, instead of eating in the cafeteria. But
Do you remember when we talked before and I asked you what his relationship was to her? And I believe at the time you said that she liked him, but he didn't like her.
it was like,
Do you remember that?
honestly, I remember it.
Was that a lie?
I think he liked her more than I let on, because he obviously was jealous when she was messing around with other guys. I think more than him liking her, he didn't like the idea of messing around with her right after she messed around with somebody else.
Connor, once again, began to stray from the truth. It was hard to believe that Makia was killed out of jealousy, especially when previous interviews suggested she had only a casual relationship with Charles. Naturally, the police and prosecutor didn't buy his story and decided to probe further for more details.
The guns were taken. That was the first discussion that you had with Charles about shooting Makia.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Specifically, where did this conversation take place?
In his truck.
Okay.
After school when we were going to Old Kings.
Okay. And what specifically did he say? Best words that came out of his mouth. What did he say about shooting Makia on Friday? This would have been before going to Cumby's house, I guess, right?
No, we didn't go to Cumby's house. I went to Cumby's house on Friday, but we were going to Old Kings so I could pick up a cigarillo for me and Cumby so we could smoke.
And did he say in that ride over to the store?
That was the same conversation where we both said we had an interest in shooting somebody before we went into the Marine Corps. That he mentioned the argument that they got into it about, and that it was more of a thing of opportunity than like anything else. It was more like she comes with us every day, like not every day, but whenever she wants to, she comes with us to perform oral sex on Charles and get a smoke from Old Kings. And he had said he didn't really nail it down till we planned it out, but he said that it would be a perfect thing because it was a crime of opportunity.
Okay. After she asked, he tells you, okay, I'm going to shoot her today.
Yeah.
What's your reaction?
I was like, I wanted to go out there with him. I didn't plan on shooting at all, but I had planned on going out there with him to see it. Because we had already talked about a curiosity in it or whatnot.
Okay, so he's telling you he's going to kill your friend, and you're thinking, hey, this sounds like something cool I'm going to watch.
Yeah, it sounds bad, but that's honest.
Okay.
Even if Charles had indeed instigated their plan, it came as a surprise as to how calm Connor seemed about it from the start. However, he went on to explain how, after the shooting, he had discarded her jacket while Charles washed the truck, and they later agreed to claim it was an accident. But as Connor described how Makia was shot, the detective noticed even more inconsistencies in his story.
Before you actually did the deed.
Yeah, because he was like, why don't you shoot her? She's already dead. It's not like I didn't do anything. And I didn't plan on shooting anybody when I went out there. I planned on just watching it go down.
You remember when we've talked every other time you said it was almost instantaneous.
Yeah, well, every other time we talked, I was sort of worried about saving my ass and not getting arrested.
Okay. But it was some period of time and thought before you actually pulled the trigger. All right. And then when you
I had to get the gun out of the truck before I even did anything. It's not like I had it in my waistband like he did.
Okay. Did you have the gun, and you confused me there by saying
Yeah, you did,
that.
because earlier you said that after you saw that he had his gun, you went to the truck and got your gun out.
No, after he shot her, I went into the truck and got my gun out.
Okay.
And that may have just been us misunderstanding what you were saying, but the way it sounded to us just a few minutes ago was that you got your gun out before the first shot was fired.
No.
That when he sort of showed you his gun or made some motion with his gun and gave you a look, that's when you got your gun out took it out of the holster and put it in your pants.
He had made a look and showed me his gun, and I knew it was gonna go down. At that point, I went to go. I was like going there. I was lighting up my smoke. I was actually pissing right there, which wasn't the greatest idea to do at a crime scene, but I was pissing on the front side of the truck, which is why she didn't realize me going into the truck or anything. I was sitting over there. I just lit up a smoke. The first shot goes off. I open the car door under there, grab that, had it like that.
Connor, let me stop you for a second. And the video that we have running right now is going to show what you just told us. Okay, let me be specific with you because I'm a detail guy. I remember details well, and I have a really good memory. This is part of the reason why I like doing my job. What you just told me 4 minutes ago was that when the first shot was fired, you pulled your gun out because you were jumping.
And you pulled it out.
And now you're telling me that you got the gun out of the car after she was down on the ground.
You see, Connor, the whole reason in this, you're taking this whole scenario, and you're creating things as you go along. You did this before many times, and this is any credibility that you're trying to give us, that all that you're telling us is true, you're washing out the window.
It's like,
because you've changed your story in here.
Hold on a second.
You can't do that.
He and I are going to walk out this door. You're going to have a conversation with Miss Taylor here, okay? I'm not playing these games, son, okay? I don't play this, all right? It's clear to me that you're making shit up as you go along, okay? I need you to sit there, think about what you're going to say, and then when we come back in here, you're going to tell us the truth, all right? Right now, I think you're lying to me. And trust me, you're the last person in this room you want to believe that you're lying.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
Fed up with his lies, the detective walks out of the room. Not only had Connor just lied about going to retrieve his gun after Charles fired the first shot, but he also denied being closer than 6 feet when he fired his own. After his lawyer berated him for lying, the detectives returned and decided to confront Connor with their findings, hoping to finally break through his web of deceit.
I said this to a jury on many occasions. Witnesses can lie, they can cheat, they can steal, they can taint their testimony or whatever they want to say. If they have an interest, they'll taint it towards their interest. But the physical evidence cannot lie. I have a trained medical examiner who's going to say, your shot was pressed up against her face. Physical, scientific evidence, a doctor who's done this for years is going to come in and is going to say, that shot was pressed against her face. And what you've told me from where you're standing and how her face was is inconsistent with the trajectory of the bullet. We recovered one bullet from her head.
Yeah, his shot was straight through.
Yeah.
That's point blank and went straight through.
The one bullet that we recovered from her head was your bullet.
Yeah.
Okay? And where it entered the body and where it ended up couldn't have been fired from where you're saying you were standing and where you were aiming from 6 feet away. It can't happen.
I admitted to moving from that spot right there. I'm saying I moved, but I did not.
The shot was here, son. Okay. You just told me her face was down, her right side of her face was lying on the ground. The shot was here, pushed up off the corner, almost to the point where the medical examiner didn't even notice it was a gunshot wound because when it entered, it was at the crease of her mouth. Okay? And the bullet went upward with the gases going upward, blowing out her nose, her eyes, her entire facial area. Okay, which means the trajectory was entry here and blowing up here. What you just told me is impossible for that shot to occur. This isn't JFK. This isn't the magic bullet scenario. It's impossible for you to be standing 6 feet away with the left side of her face facing you because she's lying on the ground, and for that shot to enter in the way it did. It's impossible. And to cause the damage,
right side of the mouth and going upward.
and to cause the damage that it caused to her face. There's going to be a doctor who has no interest in this case, who's going to say, what you just told us is bullshit.
I don't want to lie to you and tell that I did put it up to her face.
I understand you don't want to do that, but what you're telling me isn't consistent with the physical evidence.
At that point, his lawyer again was forced to add a comment before he began to tell some form of truth.
Interject, we talked about this multiple times. Obviously, you've given them the whole story up to now, okay? Just, you don't need to cover anything. Just tell them exactly. And if that's not what happened, then tell them. But tell them exactly where you put the gun when you fired it and how close you were to her.
It was anywhere from 6 feet to 3 feet. I wasn't any closer. It definitely wasn't point blank to her face. I never got that close to her. There wasn't any footprints around her that close because I never got in within a certain amount of feet from her. I was worried about hair getting on her, I didn't want there to be any evidence of me being close to her about it. I didn't put the gun to her face. I didn't do anything. I shot straight down, both hands, directly into it.
Was her face pointing toward the ground or pointing up towards you?
It was probably pointing up towards me when I shot, but when I actually looked at her, her face was on the ground. After it happened, and when my shot hit, it blew all this part out. So
Blew up most of her face?
I wouldn't say most of it, but it did a lot of damage. It did a lot more than his shot did.
Okay.
A week later, Charles's attorney also managed to secure a proffer agreement for him, and after being warned about how whatever he says could affect him, he starts by confirming Connor's story of how they had gotten the guns from Combi's house. And as he explained the events leading up to the death of Makia, the shocking truth eventually comes to light.
Early on, Detective Bowers was asking you, we were looking for guns. Explain that to me. Why were you looking for guns?
About a week before all this happened, I wasn't working as much. Everything slowed down. I wasn't working, and I told Connor one day when we were smoking cigars that I ain't got much money now, and he told me about robbing people. And he told me about a drug dealer that he had a lot of money.
Who was that?
I don't know.
For teens who came from supportive families with the means to send them to a private school, it came as a shock when Charles said they wanted to become robbers to buy things. But what made it even more baffling was his next revelation.
We're talking about robbing people, and he said, there'd be some things that you gotta do, like shooting people or stuff like that, holding up people. And he asked if I was about that, if I would do it. I said, yeah. So we're sitting in lunch, and he said, are we gonna do it? Because she was like an easy target, so.
Oh.
Makia.
Yeah, and
You had to shoot somebody if you had to. And you were assuring him that you could.
Yeah.
Now,
And so
did he have his gun that day as well?
He had his backpack
All through school?
all through school,
And how do you know that?
because he told me.
All right, now, on Tuesday, let me back up a little bit. Tuesday, when you had your gun, had y'all planned on doing anything on Wednesday?
No.
What prompted him to bring his gun on Wednesday?
That Wednesday we were gonna go out and shoot it.
So y'all had
Just
already
wanna
talked
shoot.
about on
Yeah.
Tuesday that you were going to get together on Wednesday and shoot the guns?
Yeah.
All right. So go back. You're in the lunchroom. Connor approaches you that you may have to shoot somebody in the course of a robbery. Are you man enough to do it?
But
Basically?
that was one of those days when we smoked. That's when we discussed it all.
Prior to Wednesday? Okay. But then on Wednesday, on Tuesday, y'all both decided you can bring your guns into school and you're going to go out and shoot on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Okay. On Tuesday, when y'all were making those decisions, had you already targeted Makia as the target?
That was at lunch. He said, Makia was going to be there. And he said,
Now, this is on Wednesday. Y'all decided that Makia's going to come with you?
yeah,
And is that the first time you actually decided she was going to be your first target?
yeah.
Okay. It was on Wednesday that day.
It's on Wednesday that day.
And who suggested of the two of you that Makia be the target?
It was me and him.
Was both of you together?
Both of us, yeah.
Were you angry at her, or did you see her as an easy target, someone to shoot?
Yeah, someone to shoot.
Okay.
I
Now,
wasn't mad at her or anything.
The kill for kicks plot stunned the detectives, especially since neither of the boys had a criminal record or any apparent reason to commit such a crime. But as the interview continued, the real depth of their twisted plan soon emerged.
More killing?
Not that in particular, but robbing people and hurting people to get money.
Okay.
That probably would have led to killings.
But basically, it was money backed. I mean, that was the actual motive was to get money.
In the end, it was evident that Charles Southern and Connor Pridgen took it, in turn, to shoot defenseless Makia Coney in the head. They would have faced the death penalty, applied only in first-degree murder cases, but since they were juveniles, they were sentenced to life in prison after pleading guilty to a second-degree murder charge. However, due to the Supreme Court ruling that life sentences for juveniles without the possibility of parole were unconstitutional, both Connor and Charles were resentenced under new guidelines, receiving life sentences with the possibility of review after 25 years. Even with this, Charles continues to hope to get a lighter prison sentence, claiming his previous lawyers didn't do a good job when he wanted the opportunity to get out.
Nearly everybody files a Rule 3 motion claiming the ineffective assistance of counsel. Very rarely are those motions heard, and even more rarely are they granted.
How often does that happen?
If he has changed substantially, and he can show that, then a judge is supposed to consider that and give him a sentence of less than life without the possibility of parole.
Though their incarceration will do nothing to bring Makia back, at least justice for the innocent girl was served.